Hello everyone, and welcome to essentially just a another single sit-down playthrough of Thrive. I lost 2.5 hours worth of video of one sit-down playthrough. We're gonna essentially try to copy it. It got corrupted actually. My whole computer crashed. Um, don't know exactly what it was. If it was the game that caused it, but I was not able to save in OBS. I tried using VLC Media Player to save the file, try to recoup anything that was there, but yep, in the end it was lost. So I know other ones have just been completely quiet. I'll be around here, I guess, talking. In 2.5 hours that can be quite a bit. So we'll see. This shouldn't be too tough, since technically I've done this already before. Just gotta see if I'm able to actually emulate it again. Although I think I did two different routes. On that one that I lost all the video from, I essentially copied the second video that I did of our single sit down. I started off the same way at the beginning, and I'm kind of doing the same thing now with that. We got a buddy dying over there. Don't have much glucose left. But yeah, so I'm kind of trying to follow that a little bit. That seems to be a pretty surefire way to get through quickly. But it's essentially going a plant build. That's what I did then. I'll do it again. It's actually pretty fun, except for I actually did it and then reversed it because, well, you kind of lose gameplay. Like you lessen your ability to integrate compounds, and then at that time, like that late game, you need so much more phosphates in order to evolve. Because you can make ammonia once you get the right organelles, nitrogen fixing I almost said bacteria, but it's an organelle. Um, so you can essentially just build that up. You just have to go around getting phosphates, but the problem is phosphate um, absorption is reduced. I was gonna say declined, but it's reduced through the addition of a cellulose wall, and anything above that, becomes reduced. Although osmoregulation costs drop, and in some regards, it can become a much better way to survive, but not play. Like it's not enjoyable to play. So I actually, in that video, I unevolved the cellulose wall back to a double wall because that allowed me to actually evolve more. Because essentially in the late game, everything's so developed that you get so much phosphate and ammonia just from engulfing other organisms that it's OP. And uh, the game does get put on hard mode when you say you can no longer engulf. But it wasn't even because I couldn't engulf that I decided to. I had oxytoxins, and I was literally killing things around me and sitting there, and essentially just taking the phosphates from the organelles as they decomposed around me, just absorbing all the nutrients that way. It's just that you just sit there, and with the lower intake compounds from your surroundings because of your cellular wall. And there's another thing that must be a bug. They eat iron. They have no organelles to eat iron. I noticed that in that whole playthrough too. Which is one reason why I actually got a singular rusty cyanin for my organisms, because they just kept on deciding to eat the iron, and it's like, well, I can store it then and use it as a backup. That will go here. Should be fine. Patch map. Glucose is up, so that's fine. I think I did thylakoid before. I used to put thylakoid in the center. The only reason I'm not doing it this time, I even did it in the 2-hour playthrough, but essentially you're losing that cytoplasm. The other thing is, cytoplasm seem to be able to be overridden easily by putting organelles over the top of them, removing and placing one where it's at, or by just clicking over the top. But once you get into other organelles, the game likes to crash at that point. So essentially I'll have all my prokaryotic organelles once I get to eukaryotism, being eukaryotic. We'll have them all, which will be kind of funny, because you're making about 300 ATP, and I mean, you look at the difference between, like, mitochondria just become your source of energy no matter what you're doing, just because of how much they produce. So things like metabolosomes, even, like, they're almost not worth getting at prokaryotic stages, although I probably will get one or two, because I mean, you need to process everything. I think I've lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to talk about. These, for some reason as well, there's these. In some levels, they're just floating organelles, right for the taking, and it's just immediate. Like, why sit around? I think if I stay there, though, if I stay in the patch, I don't know if I pop into that same spot. It might be worth it. Now is essentially when I start to deviate from the videos prior, because you end up getting too many variations, because obviously the clouds are random, so you can't do the same exact thing twice all the time. Because I think I was all the way through to, like, the 9th generation in the 12-minute recording mark in that 2-hour playthrough. I think we just keep on going up. Yeah, I'm essentially big enough to evolve, and my buddy there, just say, adapt. Technically not evolving in any real sense. Yeah, we're not quite at the point where our thylakoids are creating enough glucose that we can't sustain, or that we can't keep up. I was gonna say we can't sustain glycolysis, but it's that we can't. We're producing too much for glycolysis to deteriorate our reserves. I guess they're preserved reserves. Yes. A lot of rock. Yeah, those aren't going to be a big problem with us at all, especially later on. 15 glucose isn't that bad, actually. I'll probably just run over there and snap off with some more glucose, because you end up with half of whatever you have entirely. So even then, like, this guy here, or not this guy specifically, but he's eating the rock, the iron. but when you first spawn, you split half, like even with the other organism that essentially you split off from, you both get half, which sometimes can really cause a chain of uh, just your organelle, your organism, not organelle, just multiplying like tremendously. You don't really have to worry about cell walls or anything like that, or any double walling early on, because we don't have any other organisms around us. And definitely early on, even mid-game, uh, molecular, you don't even have to worry about it, because most things don't get the organelle. They don't adapt that organelle into their body plan until you do, because it seems to be more of like they'll still have their, sometimes they do, and they react to your adaptations, especially if you play longer. Um, they'll kind of adapt your playthrough, like adding predatory pilus. Though they always seem to use them defensively. I've never run into aggressive organisms that weren't my own, which is kind of annoying. Because the game just becomes a lot easier. There's no predatory. They're all iron-eating monoliths. Oh, clouds are flashing. I would joke that there's a thunderstorm, but we're actually pretty low under the surface of the water. So we are getting some light. 1%. So I don't know. I don't know if you could see. Yeah, 1% of the lightning strike. You probably could see that still. It'd almost probably be more. Well, maybe not. It's not like it's the sun rays coming down. I don't know if it'd be more or less. I don't know, but I'd really love to see some sort of organelle that essentially becomes a weak point for uh, cell-walled organisms. And you're like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of cell walls. Yes, especially how I kind of envision it. And I'm thinking about trying to mod one in. Essentially, you increase. How do I say this? It's like having cilia, but it's not the cilia that they entail that like is already in the game menu, in the editor menu. It's more towards extra surface space outside of the cell wall, meant for transferring compounds at a higher rate. But it would be like a pilus, except it doesn't do damage to other organisms, but it increases the intake of compounds. Obviously, it doesn't change much for just single walled. I don't know what I really call them. They're not really. I guess this is a wall. It's just not a cellulose wall. But yeah, that just makes it easier, and it doesn't really benefit these guys or double wall because they don't really have any intake negatives. I think double wall is probably the best, honestly, for a meta. But I would like to see the other cell wall types have some playability, because you lose mobility in all of them. You lose compound cloud intake, osmosis. Yes, that's the word I'm thinking of. Which is it's just pretty much just all negatives. Obviously, you can have flagella to off-put the movement negatives. Cilia would probably be a better for. I mean, turning I guess isn't a problem because you just spin on a dime. Currently, at least. I don't know if cilia are meant to help you turn quicker. I know. I think that's kind of how they work in Spore. Or they give you a boost. Although again, it's like alien cilia. They're like wings. But true cilia would help you move faster, but you're still slow as yeah, as you are. But I think cilia would really help and be better than flagella for cell wall. Like there has to be some benefit for cell walls having them. Maybe that doesn't make sense though. I guess most molecular organisms that have like silicate or even any different membrane type, yeah. So I feel like, I guess normal's fine. I think there's a different word that you need, like a, what is it? Bilipid phosphid? No, that feels like I said something backwards. But again, that's really long and maybe a little more scientific-y. It would be kind of cool to have. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you could maybe use the scientific term there. Maybe give it a little explanation. Because I feel like Thrive could be a great teaching tool, especially to middle schoolers and then into high school. About learning about the organelles. I mean, we all know mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I even think there's that joke, isn't there? Yeah, literally there. But, like, we all laugh about that, but we remember that. So what if you have anything else? You remember chloroplast. You remember predatory pili, cilia. I mean, oxytoxosomes are based in reality. Um, Oxytoxy NT. I mean, that's probably a real, but I think it's also just like a joke. I can't quite think. Yeah, but I feel like it could just be, you could have added in educational. I mean, maybe there can be a Thrive education version, which would essentially just be the game with maybe instead of patch maps, it's literally just set stages. Though the clouds and everything would be different, but you essentially play as maybe different organisms that have different uh, organelles, different structures, and you essentially learn how they benefit. Because obviously, you know, I don't know. There's something there that I think could be multiplied on. I think a lot of people come to Thrive for its more scientific take. Although many people want to see, I mean, many people want to see more scientific Spore. I think, or maybe more realistic. I think you can see that with the first concept images from Evolutions, with the huge 3D organism editor. And of course, you choose in your propaganda the thing that everyone likes most. Excuse me when I sneeze. Okay, I'm back. Ugh. But yeah, you use in propaganda. You use the thing that people like the most, or that you can use to influence people to like the most. Obviously, Evolution's choosing the organism stage. I can't quite actually remember what Spore calls it, but a terrestrial multicellular stage. is what was. I mean, I guess a crab isn't necessarily terrestrial, but it was hinted towards that, especially in the editor menu. And in some ways, the editor menu we have now is almost highly similar to it, except it's using art instead of essentially images of the 3D models that you put on your organisms. I completely lost my track of thought with that sneeze. I hate myself sometimes. Wanting more scientific, that's what I was on. Wanting more scientific spore. I think evolution's kind of made it seem like it was going to be more that way, and of course, it didn't ever have the idea of molecular stage. Um, so, yeah. The lack of science and the evolutions, and also technically here in Thrive. I mean, because obviously you could make this a textbook, but you don't want it to be a textbook. You want it to be a fun game. We could have had one rusty sign in as a backup thing. Let's not. It's not the same we did. We could go with the metabolism. I don't think we're producing yet. We're still at a negative 1.79. If I do that, actually increases our negative glucose. Interesting. It also decreases our. Yeah, it makes sense that it decreases our ATP production. Interesting though that we're actually making less glucose. At least that's how I guess because of glycolysis. Of course, they say it makes 0 per second, but that's false. It doesn't actually make 0 per second at 1. I think it just rounds it, but that's okay because we're moving up to here. And it changes the whole life story. We could technically do it again. Or we actually are increasing our glucose rates as we move, which is big. Yeah, I guess this all stemmed from me talking about wanting essentially plant builds, as we like to term them. Even technically they're not any sort of plant, but making them more viable as a gameplay situation, because currently it's just predatory, predatory, predatory. There's no like, oh, increased defenses. Like, I haven't run into any AI that has decided to kill me or to eat me. I mean, I actually evolved Pylus's. I keep on going back to this 2-hour gameplay because one thing was it ended up being 2 a.m. I don't know how Hyraelian saw all my messages because it would have been about 9 in the morning for him. No, well, 10 about, I think. But yeah, I had crash logs. Well, he had to inform me how to get to crash logs. F12 is a screenshot button, by the way. If you're playing Thrive and you want to take a cool screenshot, I have thought about doing a clade. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. I think clade is the more accepted. What is it? Cladogram. Thought about making one of those though, one of my playthroughs, and essentially making a video of it happening. I know maybe some of the people watching this know of Species Aura, Alternate Life Real Evolution. They've had some friendly bats back and forth with Thrive, because it kind of, they fit, I don't want to say similar niches, but they fit similar communities. At least they did, or could, uh, since many times it is essentially about evolution, ecology. I mean, I guess their species aura is more about evolution, ecology than Thrive currently. But they have a cladogram of all the species from there and the evolutions that come from it, though it doesn't save extinct species, which I would love to see in Thrive, where essentially every auto evolution that happens, auto evo, calculation that goes through that, I don't know if a image is saved somewhere or just text data of that organism and its name and what it mutated from or evolved from. And essentially it's a new organism at that point, because they do gain new names. But then just detailing that on a nice, just lined cladogram tree or phylogenetic tree. Though I guess the cladogram would probably be, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. But having something like that in Thrive, I think would be really cool. Because I would sit there. It's almost like having the stories mode in Dwarf Fortress, where you can essentially just look at like all the things about the world, but not interact with it at all. Which some might be like, "What the hell? That's weird. Why would you do that?" But it's like reading a storybook, and that's how it is for me. Like looking through a cladogram, a cladogram. I feel like I need to look this up. Hold up. Hold up. It's a. Let's get the pronunciation.
Cladogram.
I mean, okay. Google's saying cladogram. I've heard of clades. Clad. Yeah. But I'd love to see a cladogram. In any form, really. Though honestly, the species aura version would almost be right. My biggest problem with theirs is that when you have a split from a, like, it's always shown as a split and not ever as, oh, this is the original organism still going on. You always have a T-split in it. And that's obviously not the case, because the T-split means that you have an ancestral organism that develops in two different ways. Generally speaking, like it's just not normal to have just T-splits in the cladogram. Though I think maybe that is an easy way to do it, because you don't have a differing branches on your tree and don't have to worry about overlappings, since in species aura it just kicks everything off to the side from it, which makes scrolling through it incredibly hard, even like in a half an hour playthrough with species aura. But again, I'd love to see it. In any form. Do I go again? I mean, I'm making glucose already still. So we're getting some other organisms now. Pereira Spezia. But see, I'd love to have that. Like, what did that evolve off of? Did it come from something else that came up to our Pangonian epipelagic patch map? Or did it actually just a mutation off of Permium threvium that we're playing as? So that's just like, yeah. How does it relate to the current organisms? How did it relate to past organisms? I mean, obviously, every time you mutate and evolve doesn't mean that you need to rename your organism, though that would be an interesting playthrough to have to rename it every single time. Look at this, we got 3 here now. This is Primax Pinion. And there's our Pereira Spezia. It looks like they have thylakoids, and then maybe those look like rusticinin or rusticinin. They both look like they're exactly like that kind of makeup. Maybe metabolisms. Yeah, maybe. It's kind of interesting how they always look like they have a nucleus. Like they essentially have a buildup of organelles in one area. But I just want to know, how are they related? Are those two like auto evos while I'm sitting here playing through a long time on one patch map and one play before hitting up the mutation editor, or is it just off of an organism that was already here, like mutating off of that? Or was it already here and I just never saw it before? All these are possibilities that I would love to be able to just sit and see after having a playthrough. Like if it just saved it as a text file, actually that'd be pretty daunting to interpret, but maybe still good enough that I would I'd look through it and enjoy it. Which is essentially just outlining the evolutionary pattern of the other organisms and yours, and how they relate to yours. Is our own organism actually the? I mean, it's the ancestral one, since it was the first one you start with just a single speck of cytoplasm. But is it also like the father of a tremendous amount of the whole tree of life? Or is another organism like mutated enough times playing through like this that one of these other ones essentially is the what is the progenitor of life instead of you? You're just a side character on this earth. Oh, we're out of space for glucose, which means we should go ahead, go through with it. We'll look in here. There's 2 of us now. What happened? I would love to see this actually. There's a possibility as well where it's per patch map and not per species. Because I'd love to see it instead, like, okay, ice elf. They spread the ice shelf. I guess they were in the Pangonian Pelagic. They sent 1077. They went extinct there. 1679. That's why there's none here. Like here I can see present, but I don't know who's left. Did they go extinct entirely? I mean, it was... And see, they move throughout patches themselves as well, which I think is really cool, and it'd just be interesting to see also maybe the movement map. Just looking at that, I wasn't sure if there was any reason to actually jump over to here ever. It's just colder. So we leave a small population on our way up, and we come up to here and it blossoms. But I just, yeah. Seeing ecology is kind of something I'm really, I guess I'm in love with, ecology and the interactions of species with each other. So I'd love to see something like that. Obviously that might be a little bit tougher, because, I mean, we do simulate an ecosystem that occurs, and you can technically sit here and study ecology on these organisms. Though, I guess you have to be playing as well, so sometimes it can be hard. Maybe a spectator mode? Maybe? But... yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see the movements of the organisms through the patch maps. and then also reports being by patch map instead of by organism. Though that's auto evo results. Like, I mean, this is cool to see like this, but you never have previous changed because they went from there. And a lot of times there's just text here that I don't really need to see. Like, okay, they went extinct in Pangonian seafloor. That's good to know. But then do I need to see that they sent those? Their whole population? From the seafloor to the vents? Is that really needed? Maybe not. Let's see. We need to add metabolisms. Because we're not producing enough. So yes, I'm essentially wanting the removal of information and the addition of information at the same time. Well, I guess it's in different capacities. I know there was talks of adding an organelle that chemoreceptor organelle that apparently in the tutorial, which I feel like I played before, but it doesn't actually show me an arrow or a line. At least I don't remember doing that. Maybe that's because it was an old tutorial back before they took it out and then had to re-add it now in 0.5.3. But it creates a line going to a cloud, I presume the nearest cloud, that has that compound you're looking for, which would be nice. I mean, obviously you can see pretty far out this way. But then also there's times when you spawn in and there's literally not a cloud in sight. So to have that, it almost helps you survive some tight situations. What are these guys? They are the H ones. Oops. The Harale Uranium? What? Haravum? Maybe I can check it better this way. Primum Haravum. So he seems to be related to me. He has a metabolism. He has a Pilus? Predatory Pilus? It kind of looked like it. I think that is a predatory Pilus. So presumably defensive is at the back of the organism. So you can't come up and eat it, and that seems to be the most common use of it. Oh, there's our error saving, but that's okay because we're not saving ever. Patch map, there we are. I think we need to be about 40, or actually I think it cost us 22. It says just 10 apparently, but that's 33 to 54. I think that's a little bit more than 10 in osmoregulation costs. Looks like it's about 20. Actually, it's 21, is it not? No, actually, no, it's 19? No, it is 21. Because 20 would be 54. Why is it 21? At first I was like, wait, they add up? No, that'd be 25 if you added the storage and the osmoregulation cost together. But still, it's... I mean, technically we can survive. Just for sitting still, we'll be producing enough. Do I go with more thylakoids? No. Let's go with metabolisms, and then we'll hit it with... Because we can... Then that'll give us still a 20 ATP production over what we need. We can instantly do it, but I think the problem would be... Okay, I'm not sure if we're eating glucose. Okay, no. We're still increasing glucose we have even when swimming. So that tells me that it's probably fine to get the nucleus. So I'd love to be a little bit more predatory. But essentially what I've done is I've become self-sufficient. I don't have to worry about eating when I swim around. Which maybe is, I mean, as a plant, that is the goal in life, is to not need to move to sustain your living. But early on, you have to move in order to get phosphates, because there's no way for me to kill this guy and absorb him with the cellulose wall. The other problem there being that that's the only benefit, I guess, to getting a wall, but then again, you're not taking in their compounds from killing them in that manner. You're probably not killing them either. Oh, apparently had an auto evo just happen. Right? Nothing here. I think there's something there. Primum chaetosium. Interesting. What do they have? Well, looks to be another... essentially another plant boy, yeah. Tablosomes and thylakoids. We're good with staying here, I think. How's the popular? We only got 3 different species. I had a huge thing in that other playthrough I talked about, the 2-hour-long one, where the speciation was just incredible. And I don't know why it happened, but there was sometimes in the other playthrough there was like 7 different species present in a patch map. Again, that was later stage. We're at what? We're at generation 9. I'm talking generation 40 is where I was at. And sometimes you'd get 1. I mean, here, because we're playing here the most, we're gonna have the highest population here. If we intend to keep on eating organisms for our phosphates and ammonia, then we're gonna become the only organism here. Do you want to have an offset nucleus? What's the... there aren't any... I don't think there's any drag calculations being made yet. I don't think there are. It'd be interesting if there were. Usually I play as if there are, but I feel like having a nucleus off to the side in some regards also makes sense. And we can easily do it. We should be able to sit still and I mean, thylakoids by themselves make 14 ATP through glycolysis, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's nothing compared to the tablosomes, but we essentially have the same amount through our cytoplasm. We should be good. Okay. Now, since we're big boys, and we like to just break the game, eat people. And these numbers are really high in the compound clouds, which is kind of nice, but I don't know how they relate to our stored. Like, they seem to be different units being used. Like, is this actually... I mean, currently, what is it, 0.6, 0.7 for ammonium? I keep on saying ammonium and not ammonia. But it feels like it's off by a degree of 1,000. We could actually easily evolve and not worry about... Looks like I see 4 different organisms on my screen right now, which is pretty cool. For some reason that guy ate oxytoxosomes. Talking about that guy eating a cloud of oxytoxosome, that's something that, not him eating it, but the clouds around us, you used to, once you, this might be old and outdated beyond belief, but I liked the versions, and it made the possibility of playing a plant actually able. Because currently, as a plant, you still have to move um, in order to get your phosphates. You're not really attracting organisms to you. And in old versions, as a plant, you would create too much glucose. Like, it would be abundant. I mean, I probably could play the version that was that. I think I have 0.3.4. It's on my computer. It's in the launcher, but the launcher doesn't recognize it. That might be the one I'm talking about. Actually, no, that might be pre-mutation. I mean, you can mutate, but the point is, you used to push out glucose if you made too much. You used to put out ammonia if you made too much. I think the big thing reason they got rid of it was because you'd be going through a cloud. You would fill your bar out, and while you're going through the cloud, you essentially just replace it behind you. And when you left a cloud, you essentially pulled some of it out from that cloud behind you. So I think it was calculating it going in and then out, which doing a lot of those calculations probably bogged down the game a bit. But I'd love to see that, maybe not that entirely come back where you're like the clouds is like, oh, obviously if you're full, you shouldn't take more in. But if you're producing, as in glucose, it'd be interesting to see the glucose leave, because obviously you're producing it. Does your body just stop producing it when you're full on it? Would that make sense for an organelle to do that? I just feel like it makes more sense to, at least from a gameplay sort. I don't know scientifically if this makes any sense, but generally things of higher concentration go to things of lower concentration, so if you're producing more than what you're using, that means you have a high concentration of glucose within your cytoplasm, and it's being regulated by the environment, being pulled out of you because of the difference. Though I guess because of our normal cell structure, the bilipid phosphate, bilipid phosphate, I think that's right. That layer helps hold everything in beyond what it is out in the environment. So I guess it makes sense that it also doesn't get expelled, but from a plant playthrough perspective, putting out glucose attracts organisms to you. It's beneficial for those organisms to come eat your glucose. But then if you need phosphates, you kill those organisms and absorb their phosphates. And that allows you to have a sessile gameplay to a degree. Although really that's just spam cytoplasms or chloroplasts. Pardon me. Until you're attracting so much. That also would ruin normal membrane types. Well, actually, technically, anything below cellulose, it would ruin, because you have the engulfing ability. So you would essentially, yeah, you'd be going incredibly quick, having that ability to attract other organisms to you. But that's something, maybe it only occurs at these higher levels. Maybe silica can't do it or something. Maybe calcium carbonate can't do it. But yeah, maybe chitin and cellulose can expel. I mean, yes, technically they all should, but technically some are less than others. It's just resource absorption speed. Like, yeah, when phosphates are only able to be gotten from your outside environment, you need to make an easier way counteract all the negatives. Like, there's no positives, really. I mean, you say, oh, there's less osmoregulation cost. Well, if you're sitting still, you literally get rid of this base movement. I guess osmoregulation is there, but this is so small. In the terms of this all, this is non-existent. Really, you're just trying to off-put your base movement. ATP consumption early on. I mean, throughout the whole game, it's just movement. You're never trying to do better than your osmoregulation because generally it's incredibly easy to be over an ATP production over your osmoregulation. Though I mean, when you're playing, it's different on whether you can get to the clouds or not. But the whole part of actually balancing out here in the editor is incredibly easy. And then it just comes down to taking away this. But I mean, once you become a sessile quote-unquote plant, you get rid of your base movement, and all your ATP production stays. It's 28 off. Essentially, it's 28 extra. I guess you take the difference, add 28. That's what you get. Is what you're now getting an ATP production that you no longer need. And then what do you use it for? You put it towards nitrogen fixation. Okay. It's nowhere near base movement. So now you're just throwing down nitrogen fixing plastids and still not worrying about it. Well, you do toxin vacuoles. What do you need toxin vacuoles as a sessile plant? Well, you kill things that are trying to eat you. Well, there's nothing large enough to eat you yet. Or there aren't anything large enough to eat you, period. And you can't catch anything because you're going so slow, so you do flagellum, which means now you're off-putting that movement speed, but if you're sessile, you don't get phosphate. Essentially, becoming sessile in molecular stage is AFK. And hoping that some non-sessile organism comes and is able to push your fat ass towards some phosphates. So I think there needs to be some way, maybe not to produce phosphates, because obviously you can't produce, I mean, there's some way you could produce phosphates from ATP, but I highly doubt it. There's no such thing as free phosphates in this, because you have them in the form of the compound clouds as the free phosphates floating around. It's not like light or carbon dioxide or oxygen. So that kind of makes it tough to do what I was thinking, the cilia roots, essentially the increased area for increased regulation, resource absorption. Yeah, really, I mean, you just don't want to be sessile. You can only become a plant after you beat the game. The cellular stage. Which, you know, I guess, I mean, there's a point to that. Where once you go into multicellular, obviously not early multicellular since we're splitting that up, which I agree with. But early multicellular, you don't even want to be sessile. Again. I mean, they're looking at ways to try to change that, to try to allow it, because you do start to get some forms of sessile organisms that develop into plants. I mean, some phytoplankton, I guess, are not sessile, but when you get into the algae and other organisms, you have maybe not necessarily sessile, but it's low enough mobility, but it's still enough mobility to... Maybe I'm just proving myself wrong here. Like, you are becoming an algae, so... why should you be able to argue about it? No question is, do we go for next solution? Yeah, I feel like I'm talking myself out of like. There's no reason to make a sessile organism. I mean, because then how do you translate that out from just making a mobile organism completely not OP? Because once you add in those sessile organelles to your mobile organism, you're done. Like the game, you won the game. Maybe you put them all behind a nucleus. Well, nuclei aren't too hard to get. They can be tough, but I mean, really, you only see becoming sessile with a nucleus in Thrive, at least. Maybe a way to help with becoming sessile or sessile is currents. I know those were talked about before. It would be interesting to see them included again. Look here, we hitching a ride. I'm not even touching the mouse anymore. And they pushed me towards some phosphates. Topical. Okay, that guy apparently either evolved to not survive. Autoevolution just completely decided you don't need to exist. They're not eating it. Interesting. Oh, those guys are. Yeah, no, that's not happening. I can't even hold it all. And I just lost my train of thought again. Flows. Adding currents. Could help with some sessile gameplay. Also help with the idea that you need flagellum or cilia in order to combat currents. It makes sense, in my opinion. Though, maybe they shouldn't be like jet streams like they were in Spore. But should make it still harder to move in certain directions, which essentially cost you more ATP. I'd love to see something like that. I think it'd be beneficial. Obviously, how does that interact with compound clouds makes a problem, because technically, whether it be a flow out, either you have a huge influx of compounds being just flowing through that current, or you have none, or you literally just overlay currents on top of the compound clouds where they don't interact at all, which doesn't really make too much sense, but yeah. It's a possibility. It kind of makes it so you don't have to worry about calculating compound clouds getting flowing in these currents. And then you don't have to worry about just currents being dead space. Because what's worse than a current that doesn't allow you to play the game than a current that just makes you not want to play the game? Okay, let's try not eat. All the organisms, looks like, is this guy? Oh, he's the high Herabacom from before. They've got their Pilus. Don't you dare swing around at me. He's gonna swing around at me. I can feel it. Okay, that's what you get for riding on me. I've essentially hit endgame at Generation 12. Not really. I mean, there's still phosphate collections. I could go with flagellum things, harden my shell, but I could beef up my boy. Go with some nitrogen fixing, and I don't know. Oxytoxy. These are 20 apparently, or negative 20. We can't. 70. Duh. Let's go with a vacuole instead then. Okay, if things are just gonna run into us, might as well eat them. We just got hit by an oxytoxisome. If. Yep, I was literally hitting G as that occurred. But. Let's just, break myself here. This could just put me into a death loop. I think one of those is now. Yeah, the nitrogen fixing plastic. It's like nothing. Obviously, it doesn't produce much. 24. But it doesn't really need to. What else? What do I mean, I could add more mitochondria. I'm already sitting on top of my ATP. Let's put the bananas around. My nitrogen bananas. Make me my ammonia. Actually need to... Okay, yeah, we're still making enough glucose while moving around. I guess next we just go for Sanic. Can't really go for predatory pilus because I like engulfing things. Predatory pili are, I don't know, they're detrimental for aggressive behaviors, especially for feeding, foraging, because you kill something with it and then you have to work around it. So having more than one, or really more than two, or having them in bilateral symmetry, really puts a downer on gameplay. Because if you have three, you gotta work around the center one, presumably if you have them in kind of a symmetrical styling. That becomes tougher to deal with. Especially because you come up and you hit these, you just hit them. They can have it. Okay, if you're not gonna eat it, then I'll just eat you. See, everything just develops oxytoxisomes in order to defend themselves, but because I'm producing glucose, I just heal myself back up. It used to be, you used to had to get ammonia and phosphates. Oh dog, that was the hard times. Like you're doing this and all your storage of that is needed in order to survive. Did they just not understand how to... Oh, they have oxytoxisomes. I should have thought of that. Let's just jump in there real quick. I wonder if the compounds I had will still be there. See, so now maybe you're like, okay, well I'm making too much or glucose still, so just throw in mitochondria. still produce? Maybe not. I'm staring down there at the glucose. It's stagnant. Sitting still, it increases, so that's good. Photosynthesis still making 0.1 per second. There's not really a total there for glycolysis. Both of the types of glycolysis. One I think is through the metabolisms. I think, because respiration's through the mitochondria. Both photosynthesis ones, or 0.1 is from our chloroplast, the 0.03 are from our thylakoids. I think it was the second glycolysis, yeah, that's through our metabolisms. So it goes in the order that you had added them to your organism. Although, I'm pretty sure we added chloroplast before we added mitochondria, didn't we? I guess we didn't, did we? That's kind of odd of me to do. I guess it didn't matter too much. But I think that's not adding them all up though, that's just a singular. So I'm not making, maybe I'm making actually just 0.1 glucose per second from the photosynthesis of our chloroplast. That is occurring within our chloroplast, I should say. This guy's got, yeah, that's what I thought. Predatory pili as a defensive organelle. I kind of want to add chloroplast now to see if that photosynthesis rate changes, or if it just says that as a stock rate, or is it actually a total rate? Obviously respiration is changing. Is that, it's not as, it's as we need it, yeah. That's why it's fluctuating so much, because we don't need to make any ATP. I mean, you make it for osmoregulation, but other than that, you're not creating any. Red's supposed to be using it, or maybe it's not making it? I don't know why it's flashing red there, to be honest with you. That's fine. Oh, there's phosphates up there or down there. Both in the corners. Let's go to this top one since it's just phosphate. And actually there's organisms dying. That's always a pleasure. And now we're getting ridden upwards. And that guy is getting in the way. You know what? There's an organelle there. He's trying to eat that organelle. I'll go eat these organelles then. Of course I'm gonna get hit by stray oxytoxisome. That's one thing I noticed. They always start engulfing way too early. By way too early, I mean like it is way too early. That's a strat, I guess, to beat your own species. Two things. It's just don't engulf early on. Just swim into it and wait. Looks like we got a death field up here. So I say these guys, they flick around with their predatory pilots in the back of them and they do damage. Like he's engulfing up there, but I don't think they purposely do it either. It's like tracking. They end up just getting themselves killed, or killing one of these guys that are about ready to split. I don't know why it's saying these small guys are here. Seem to... They can sniff out dead organisms. Like miles away. Okay. New phosphate field over there. Not really, it's gone. Completely demolished. I'll take the damage. I'll take the damage for the phosphates. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and evolve again. Excuse me. What's our diversity? There we go. Pereira Spezia is back. Was that 8? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 8 species. Diversity is 5, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Which makes sense, I guess, for the epipelagic. With the amount of flux, the light that's there, the atmospheric gases as well. Those two, I guess they all kind of matter now, except for free nitrogen, right? I think that's free nitrogen at least. Actually, no, it's not free nitrogen. What is it? Because ammonias are a nitrogen fix. Maybe it is free nitrogen. Fixating nitrogen. Is that what it is? Hold up. Okay, yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Guess we go with flagellum now. Since we've kind of met our quota. Well, we're at 45. That's one thing I hate about some of these. I could get a mitochondria. Could get a chemoplast, but there's no source of hydrogen sulfide here. There's no answer there for that. Could get thermoplasts. They are put in. They just don't have a rate at which they create energy from, or glucose from carbon dioxide. Glucose from water and gaseous carbon dioxide. Thermosynthesis. It scales. So really, I mean, that's essentially, that's the same thing as this in the chloroplast. Which makes sense. I don't know if there's any, like, non-glucose producing eukaryotic organism and thrive, at least. I don't know if anyone's really tried playing without any of these, just mitochondria. Obviously, I don't think you can get flagella. You would be running from glucose cloud to glucose cloud and trying to find a glucose cloud at that. I guess we just add in, I don't know, mitochondria. It's a weird spot though. I like symmetry. We could get the power to eat rocks. That could be cool. This also does glycolysis. But they all do glycolysis, just at lower rates than the metabolism. Yeah, I guess this doesn't. The iron chemolytic autotrophy doesn't. That's great. We're gonna add it in. If we ever find iron in our ironless world, we will have it. Still making more glucose than we consume. Yippee-ki-yay. time to eat enough of an organism to just skyrocket ourselves towards one game. Looks like we've been playing for an hour and 15. Let's see, these guys are probably gonna hurt me because I'm coming from behind them. Oh, yeah, I wasn't gonna be able to actually do anything there. This guy's practically inside of me. Back up into him. They're really eating prokaryotes. It just becomes a hazard. Eating other eukaryotes is much more beneficial. We used to be that size. I do love that that guy's just... Oh no, he's not just an oxytoxisome. What is he? Thylakoids, one metabolism, and oxytoxisome. Which is, again, it's just defensive. That's all it is defensive. Which, I mean, in older versions, yes, we do know about the killers. Oh, is he actually trying to eat him? Or is he just dying? I guess we'll hear that when we come up. Sounds like, okay, he just couldn't sustain osmoregulation. But I think most of us know of the fighter planes that used to police the Thrive world as we know it. Let me just completely kill myself because I eat 2 prokaryotes. They have oxytoxisms. Watch what you eat, kids. Also iron. I don't know where people are getting iron at. Pretty sure this is ironless. It is. Someone has iron. I think we just leave it. Unless we want to just go with cytoplasm. Maybe we do need some mitochondria, actually. You compare mitochondria with flagella. We'll just start a mitochondria chain upwards. Okay. Give me the speed. And we can eat this dude. Or should I? Should I be eating eukaryotes? I mean, I say that they're better to eat. But if I eat them, that means his population falls, which means I can't eat them later on. But if I eat them now, I have the higher chance of getting a double adaptation. Essentially, you adapt, evolve, and then spawn back in and immediately hit the button. Just got a fair bit of phosphates built up. What is this? Primix Pinion? Another horrid... Just look how many organs... Like, what? Is it because he's so dark and... Yeah, oxytoxosomes, probably thylakoids and a metabolism. What are these guys? They're different, aren't they? No, they're them, just with an AI and probably ready to split about? Must be. Oh. Spezia, back in town. Killing that guy. Where are they at? They're down here. Manta rays confirmed. Oh, we got a new guy here. Primum Otella. I guess he's not new. Just the first time I've seen him. Appears to be broken AI. Maybe? Dodged. Not really. Let's get you some glucose, eh? the little guy coming in. Of course, they have it on one side. Is their predatory pilus, and they just become a huge issue. Because if you eat too far, you end up poking your intestines, your insides, not your intestines. Obviously, you don't have intestines, but your insides just end up getting ripped to shreds. You still at 7? Or 8, was it? 2, 4, 6? Nope. You're at 8 before. 5, I think are we actually creating extinct populations? Because it will actually say if they went extinct on the planet. I've seen that before. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, it just says it's the last thing because there's nothing else there to say they moved or something. Planetary production 391. Escaped engulfing. Successful scavenge. Why don't I get those, huh? Because of death, because of death, because of death. Because I eat you. Such is life. You're edible. Confirm. Still making, yep, still making enough glucose to sustain our movement. I guess we just cheese it. Oh, I was gonna say, I think I was getting a little on the dangerous side there. Okay, oh, this is a new guy. Primum Kinia. He must be a Autonum variation, although he's dying, so I'll just eat him. Oxytoxy. And predatory pilus. Notice I think everything's getting predatory pilus. And I freaking dance, dude. See that? See that? Defensory. Oh. I had him engulfed too much there. Couldn't do anything. This predatory pilus actually just stopped working. Because I first think it's a flagellum, but look at Primum thrivium there. Just absolutely mad ladding it. Never mind, he's going right past. No one's hunting though. There's a blue guy down here. Primum Maxian. Cool, cool. It's at our mitochondria and flagellum. Shaking it up. Oh. Okay, we almost have enough phosphates just to sustain another evolution. Okay, so this guy's got... Okay, they're just all flagellum. Oh, can I not eat you? Oh no, I can. It's like, what was that? Just get a little snag at this stuff. Not like I really need it. Make this guy go extinct. Oh, oh, never mind. You are a recent relative to me, Eucoprius. I will swear on it, because you're essentially me, just with a little less flagellum. Or flagella. Yeah, about right. Okay, we're full on that. We're good. Yep. You have thrived. Yes, I have. I have thrived. I've thrived so much I can just completely skip that. and thrive even more. Nice. Thriving. Actually, it's still there. It's time to become a lung boy. Kill myself while eating a guy with a predatory pilus. Sit and let myself heal. I realize I'm still on the normal membrane. You are Eucorpus. You've changed your color. You've also lost a flagellum. Unless that's Eucorpreus instead of Eucorpreum. Something like that. And oxytoxosomes. Not cool. Just need to make myself really fragile as an organism. Because your base health stays the same. It used to scale with the amount of hexes you had. But now it stays the same and is generally changed by cell wall that you have, which is nice. Really, I should go double wall to counteract eating things with oxytocin because of the health increase, so you can stomach more. I mean, in all reality, you would go with silicate structure. But hey, this guy's dying down here, apparently. Oh. Cool, thank you. Yeah, don't go into the glucose. I'm sure that's what you need. Ouch. And thank you for not getting your glucose. I think health resets, doesn't it? Guess we could check it. Low on phosphates though. Start filling it? Nah. No, we don't. Fusiform shape does not help. I wish you could slide across better. But I think the hexagons are still kind of in the way. You, buddy, almost have more flagellum than me. Let me eat you. Let me eat you all. Let me take the damage from your oxytoxosomes. To eat you. Let me be the predatory plant that I know I can be. Oh, killed myself there. Oh wait, we gotta eat off. Evolution. And why? Okay, so we actually just kind of kill ourselves that way. Gotcha. Okay, he's gonna push us along. Sounds cool. Oh, and we're actually using up glucose now. Faster than we produce it. That is cool. Oh. Being big has its drawbacks. Still. especially with no double wall. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, we're starting to lag here. I think we can actually eat them outside of the range now. We're looking at an hour and 30. If I stay zoomed in a little bit more. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, we can eat them from further away now. Because you can see our cloud suction size. Those otriums again. They're faster than me. Do we have to make contact still? Oh, maybe. That apparently is far enough away. Oh, we're getting some audio breaks. And killed ourselves. I was not paying attention to our health at all. Maybe dying was a good thing though. Though we're actually getting really choppy here. Oh. So that's probably an indication we need to go to double wall. Can no longer cheese our eatings. It's interesting. He had to cross over the patch map, or the map, or the patch there. We're apparently creating more organelles that cost more to use than to produce glucose. These guys are still faster than us. I'm impressed. Is it their shape? It can't be their shape. Well, maybe it is their shape. Look, he's pulling away. Like, he is obviously pulling away. It's interesting. We're zoomed out again. There we go, there's some more food. Don't kill me. Practically did. Not really, did a little bit of damage. I think we waited out. Wait a little bit. So you can tap them apparently and then use the tap. Just keep on eating them off the tap. So you like tap them and digest. Alright. I'm gonna turn up the sounds for you guys, the music. For me it's quiet, but my voice seems to be only twice ahead of it on OBS. No, we'll just keep it down, I guess. It's probably the best part of Thrive. I can't actually say that. Game's pretty good. Game's pretty good. Obviously, if I can sit down and play it for an hour and a half, currently. So can I tag it? Tag it. Ooh. There we go. And eat it from away. There we go. Interesting. There we go. We got lucky on the oxytoxazome splatter. Or if he'll die. Nice hit, nice hit. He's dying. One guy's dying. Oh, oh, that was... I ate into his pilus there. Okay, let's go double wall. Lose a bit of mobility. That will make them quite a bit faster than us. But, yeah, osmo regulation drops. Now do we cheese it and gain some more chloroplasts? What do we add? Game out of single flagella actually. I guess we go with... There's no good place to put it, is there? Or we just not? You don't have to put things down every single time. Though it doesn't make sense to not to, really. I'd be interested to see glucose, but I mean, we're currently 304. That's ATP. We're at a negative 0.22. We'll still get it. We'll get it. We'll like that. And then we'll add another one over here like this. Next time. It's a nose. Sniffing out. So huge. Technically, I've always been playing as a double. Like I essentially have double all my organelles ready for mitosis. Dun, 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 dun. Seems good. Yeah, that's real cheesy. Oh. Got ourselves some dead organisms. Actually, this might have been another premium thravium. The amount of mitochondria. Because this guy's got a predatory pilus on the front of him. Which means wherever he's swimming... Whoop, ooh. Is a dead zone. Honestly, I like that idea. But, like I said, we're going with another chloroplast. Because we're going like that. And I guess we have 50 left. Well, those only cost 30. Why not, right? Now we are the greater hunters of the world. We are producing glucose now, greater than we consume it. It's a balancing act. Oh, he doesn't even have... Is he having osmoregulation problems? Kinda looks like it. And he's got a pilus there, but his pilus is smaller than mine. If I do it right. Oh, we just got hit from someone else dying though. I think so. It looked like someone else dying. Maybe it wasn't. That was. This guy literally all the way up here. See the other one in the corner in the top? Push the stuff out of the way. They hunting these guys? No, they're not. It's just a problem with eukarya versus prokarya. Their size. They're doing damage to me afterwards, but you can hunt them pretty easily with a predatory pilus. Good old ammonia, phosphate cloud. I think this usually means someone's Yeah, this one's died there. It's just the organelle's been completely deteriorated. So they have 0 defense. That's interesting. And we got a huge death cloud up here. Pink death cloud. Seems to be a node here or something. Unless that's... I am eating it, aren't I? I don't know. It's just coming back the same way it was before. Okay, so actually, the way to choose the game is this. We're gonna need you to come near us. Yep. Oh, never mind. Whoops. I'm a little bit quicker at engulfing things, I guess, than I thought I was. We gotta offset the deaths with positives. So you have to engulf and unengulf. So, oh, don't want to stab him, unless that counts. Nope, okay, that just was an instant kill. I don't need this except for the glucose, I guess. Okay, let's try that again. To get a successful successful engulfing escape. This guy's dying already though. Oh, let's do that. That might work. He just died though. Player abduction, that's me. Escape engulfing. Nemois. It doesn't. It doesn't even out. What are we eating though? We're eating Catastomia. That was a native 360 is a big hit. Where's Prim Catasomium? Probably all the way up the top. Most is an extinct Catasomia. One extinct. Yep, we made them go extinct. Yep. So there's 3 of us now. That's what happens when you stick them in place for too long. But you also create organisms essentially then that I wouldn't say are adapted to you, but they're more equal. They're able to deal with you. It's just... no, it's a -5. Oops, can't do that. We'll just confirm and go on. Nope. Apparently... okay, as long as you don't put your main body over it, you're fine. And I can just instantly evolve again. Nope. Did hit me there. That's annoying. More flagellum. We're speedy boys. Speedy boys, speedy boys, speedy boys. Guess we start doing mitochondria on the top. Get. Stop thrusting your pilus into me. Stop. Stop. Thank you. Wanted to go the other way, but this way works, I guess. I can eat. Though it doesn't necessarily benefit me at all, because I lose more health than anything. Maybe I gained enough phosphates and ammonia to give some positives of that interaction. Is this maybe because the speed is lowered? And that's why it looks like it's coming back, because the speed at which I absorb the resources is lower. Meaning I essentially don't get it all just by going through it. I have to kind of sit there for a little bit. Or is that just a node? A marine snow node. Kinda looks that way. There's no organelles here. But it's back. Indian greaser. Can I sit here and just coast? Yes, I can actually. Maybe this is how you go seesaw. Did I find a bug? Or is this a seasile strategy that they have created for us? It's slow phosphate production, but it's phosphate production nonetheless. Like, I literally said this is what I wanted. I can't complain. We just might be here for a day and a half. Just start chilling in the music. As our fellow species push us off of our Goldilocks zone. Oh my gosh, she's stuck on us. Get. It'd be amazing if you find two of these nodes next to each other, actually. So that node will come back. What was this? Is this got a node? It feels like it's got a node. It does not. This does. Because I don't need to produce I don't need glucose from it. It giving me ammonia and phosphates are well enough. Interesting. Interesting indeed. 80%. What was there before? It doesn't show you here. It'd be interesting to show you there, but it's 80% of 5%. Or what was 5%, because I'm pretty sure it's probably been saying that for a while now. Do I need flagellum? No. Do I need mitochondria? No. Do I need chloroplast? Apparently. Though when I'm not moving, I'm overproducing out the wazoo. Nice. And we're set on the node. Is the node active though? The node is active. This makes for terrible gameplay video. Technically terrible gameplay as well. But hey. It's there. So I'll exploit it. Probably would get to generation 100 a lot quicker though, being non-seesaw. And not relying on this node, since, well, We can sit here and literally just watch the phosphates increase if we wanted to, ever so slowly. Or we can just go out and kill little guys. Wiggle your sword at them too. Oh, apparently we're... Okay, I don't understand. We weren't touching him at all, apparently. Too big to live. Is this a node? JK, we don't need nodes. Where we're going, we don't need nodes, Marty. Just engulf it all. Absorb it all. With your massive size. Apparently my pilus is so small. It's because it's not on the tip anymore, isn't it? That's why. Because the cytoplasm actually extends out. But it's not showing it. Wonder if that means I need to get rid of my pilus. Yeah, that's a problem with the mass there, apparently. Get a little chunky. Clogging along. There we go. Huh. Hey. Did we... Now our cytoplasm showed up. It's interesting. I think that's visual. Okay, gotta cross the path match there. Need more phosphates. I need to eat. And Primum Vera, you are the poor fool that will be eaten. Although you're speciated from us. Are you still faster than me? Is this... Are you faster than me? I can't tell, to be honest with you. You're gonna hurt yourself by... No, you're not. You're pushing... that node. That is amazing behavior. How you just push the node. Who would have dunked it? You just push the node. Oh, I just ate it. Can I push a node? What? No, that... Oh, I did. I did? Did I? Can I? Nope. Probably should stop eating. It kind of feels like I am. Let's go eat the leftovers here. Get our fill of phosphates. Can I bat it? Probably not. Can I? Oh, nope, I just eat it. Just eat it instead of batting it. I think none of the population effects happen in auto evo while you're playing. I think. So I don't know if that means you could technically sit here and just live off of somebody. Oh, we caught it. We caught the node. Oh, and then I lost it. It's like the Globetrotters, you know? Swirling the basketball on your finger. At some point, you might come to the time where that basketball spinning too fast and just breaks your finger. You know? Look at those slim boys. Ooh, you know who's not slim? Oh. Oh, Shiza. Can I try to eat you? That's all I want to do. I just want to... Oh, nope. I actually did eat you. My defense actually just is have engulfing on. Yeah, okay. we're gonna lose everything. Like, wait, don't I need to put down a? Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. What does this look like? Oh, there we go. There's the teleportation glitch. Look at that weird plane. Oh, looks like it's correcting ourselves. There we go. Yeah, is it? No, we're still at an angle, like, angle downwards. Interesting. Also, it looks like we're not sized right because of our, oh. Yeah, we're just not sized right. It doesn't know how to wrap around us. I wonder if that is because the pilot, though. It's essentially being pulled back to the pilot instead of allowing it to just stick out. So we might have to remove it and then add it somewhere else. Oh, look at you. Primum Etox, who apparently has the same problem as I do. Probably because it speciated from me as well. It's got 5 flagella. It makes sense. It's faster than me though. Probably because it's slim right now. Still says it's there though. Can't eat them because I don't know my actual size. And I can't work around that. Excuse me. I'm not gonna catch him. Oh, 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 here we go, here we go. Coming sideways. Because he can't spin into us, right? Can we even engulf him? Oh, we can't even engulf him. Can we push you into death, though? Yeah, but what is that actually? It's like nothing to him. Be my food. Give me the yum yums. Get into their grasps. Yes. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You hurt. But I am the hungry. I don't need ammonia. I need phosphates. That's what I'm talking about right there. So I can get rid of this predatory pilus and I can start eating you, Primum Etox. I've literally gotten too large for myself. Who would have thought that was a possibility? Becoming too large for gameplay. I didn't think that was a possibility. I guess maybe you did. Maybe you knew that already. If so, let me know down in the comments if you're randomly at the, literally the 2-hour mark. It is 1 hour and 59 minutes right now and 49 seconds. So yeah, that's 2 hours of Thrive. Thriving for hours. 2 hours. Pretty good, pretty good. Looks like we've lost all clouds. Everyone just seems to be heading directly northward. Can I just smack this guy face on? Or is he gonna hurt me? Can I eat him now? Oh, I can eat him now. Of course, we had some weird damage calculations happening there. Little dudes are back, but we got our pilots down the right spot. I think. Maybe? Oh, maybe not. We're getting rid of it though. We are getting rid of it. Replace with cytoplasm. And just becoming a longer boy. Oh, had a little audio problem there. Nope, still not really working as intended. Just got floaty bits now. Floaty balls. Okay, we don't need ammonia. Though if they kill this guy. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Come on. Come on. Expand. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, actually, I'm apparently inside of my all those already. Probably the length we need to be now. Let's not do what our buddy did and swim directly into the back of them. Oops, I just smacked myself into this. It's poker. More phosphates, maybe? Is that's a 5 of them, isn't it? No, it's a vira. Oh, no, we are longer than we actually think. We are longer than we actually are. We were not pushing the guy yet there. We're on your tail, Elvira. Not really, though. You're faster than us. But if you deviate, you're ours. We're coming. Oh, I see. That's what you're getting at. Oh, that's not good. Wait, no, we're good now. Oh, never mind, no, we're not. Do our little cheeky mutation hit here. We're not gonna go that way anymore. Because apparently that's broken. Can't really go past there. Maybe that's because of the... Maybe if I build it up. Can we fix it? No. I mean, they're just barely. Not as bad as before. Still not good. It's like no phosphate in that whole patch. The whole patch area. There we go. For some reason I took a huge ATP dip there. Don't know what that was. Oh, I guess we're generating new... we're copying organelles. Let's see, our population's at 9685. Just grab some glucose, even though we're obviously making enough. But we literally just devour clouds now. So why not? Especially when there's few and far. Few and none in between. Few and far in between. Something like that. Words. There's more clouds in here. Well, that's all ammonia. Any phosphates? Oh, hello there. You are You are a long boy. I can't eat you. Actually, too long for me to eat. Oh, I'm gonna guess they teleported each other. Did we teleport each other? Huh? Oh, I'm longer than what I think. Teleport. Am I stuck in you now? I don't know. Guess not. Okay, at first I thought that was a part of him. Apparently that's a different organism. Okay, there wasn't like a decrease in phosphate clouds, was there? Hmm. Oh, there we go. There's some phosphates. Not much, but it'll do. I'll literally swim into the center of that for all of his phosphates. Yes, there we go. Devourer of clouds. Oh, is this a node? Is it a node? Oh, oh. No, it's not a node. That's a bit cheesy. I ate all those. Oh well. I guess it's cheesy, but it's not like it's beneficial, really, to me. Like, they're so small that I'm getting hit by so much of their oxytocin, so we can eat them now. That's what it's like to eat a brethren. Delicioso. I can eat you. Come here. Primum Zostir. I actually need to try to make it equal to your death. It's faster than me, though. Oh, there's another one there, though. But they're all swimming away. Just come here. I don't want to finish eating you. There you go. Successfully escaped getting engulfed. Disease. Primum Zostir escaped engulfing, which then negates their death. Nice. Don't know how they got 200 from that. I guess they were fast enough. Some of them were fast enough to actually get out of being engulfed. It says we're not making enough, but I think we are. So what we're gonna do is make an arm. This arm will facilitate the capturing of foods in our side pouch. Our mouth, as some may will it. Okay, we just killed the guy, so now we need to make sure we find one that we can essentially unkill. There was one guy that went this way. These little small shits. We have 1168. Oh, there's a new guy. He's dying to osmoregulation, that looks like. He's got some predatory pili on his side there, those two. So follow him. There seems to be an audio problem with the osmoregulation death. Oh, oh. Yeah, there we go. Okay, apparently has oxytoxins as well. No! The Z dude, come back. Come back. Zosteer. I can see you there. I need to fake eat you to facilitate the growth of my species. You little guys are so annoying. You're literally like tacks. But you're tacks being poked into a fleshy wall instead of a cardboard thing. Oh, you are not the same. What are you? You're kind of the same. Can I help facilitate your growth? You're faster than me. Let me farm you. Yes. There you go. Perfect. You successfully gotten out of an engulfment. Live long, prosper. Oh. Zosteer, buddy. Zosteer, buddy. Come on. If I can farm 2, that's better than 1, right? I would believe. Believe so. Apparently I'm not fast enough to farm. Also, there's like no clouds. Are we just that late in the game that it's like, yeah, you can just eat? Or have I essentially run the game into a point where it's like, clouds don't need to exist? Okay, we're gonna switch up our trajectory. There's some clouds. That's glucose and ammonium. Oh, are those? Oh, those are all freaking tacks. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Stay back. Stay back. Stay back. Stay back. Oh. Okay, we're out of here. We're out of here. What are you? You're the Vera. Don't smack me with your side or your toxins. I don't know if I ate those or they just disappeared. They just disappeared, it seemed like. Clouds are back though, apparently. He's longer than he actually is. I guess technically I am too. Actually, you can have that. I'll have this. There you go. facilitate some growth in you. Hopefully that worked. That's us getting 2,000. Ugh. It just barely. Successful scavenge. It's the Vera. The Vera's getting split up now. Escaped at golfing. Helped negate it quite a bit. Actually, they get a plus 10 actually because of the successful scavenge. Sigavillum. That's the one we farmed, I think. And Zoasteer survived because we made it so they escaped in golfing. What are we looking at? We're getting. No, we're not getting any more. We have a new genus though, Loster, instead of Primum, in the area. Of course, there's Isis, Tansis. Oh, I don't know why I took that as all the name for some reason. And actually, Eleptata Vipin is doing incredibly well down here in the depths. They are. Seems as though the Bethpelagic here is their stop-off point. Wonder what would be the cause of that. There's not really much difference here except for gaining light, but I mean there's no anti-light organisms as far as I know. Actually, they got a lot of speciation. I guess we do too here. We got genus difference though. Just doing pretty good. I don't think I've seen the Loster Acopcanus. Are they new? Gotta find them now. Oh, this is the top Eleptata Vipin. So they're doing pretty good. They have previous. They're not growing at all, probably because they grew by one there in the vents. Okay, where are they at? There's the Isis, or Isis, Oemasopsis, or Oemasopsis. They're the coast and the estuary. Makes sense. Where are you at? Did I pass them? Otantis Pilavillum? No, that's not it. We're going for Luster. Luster. Am I missing it, or are they just not in this at all? Yeah, they're not on this list at all. They must be a new speciation that split off of us here, and that's why they have such a huge ass population. Interesting. Behavior tab when? My dude's making multicellular. The first stage is a multicellular. I guess that helps create hype. Where's my organism behavior? Where's my cilia? Actually, cilia and organelles technically can literally be done by modding. That's how you become a dev. Not really. A lot of the modders became devs though, which is pretty cool. Which, I have 9's overhaul. 999. Like no 99. I have their overhaul. Need Primavera. Have a successful escape. Oh, of course they just. Let me. There's the Loster. wanna farm Loster? They have the largest population. There you go. There you go. I don't know if those all count as individual encounters. Oh my gosh. Get off of me. Get off of me, bro. Yeah, cool. Gotta cross over the patch map. I call them patch maps. I think they were originally called patch maps. Other areas I call patch maps. Because obviously world boundaries where clouds spawn and don't spawn. Oh, there's another Loster. Can we get a... There we go. Another escape. Yes, let us run from the pincushions. Okay, you know what? Oh, there's another one of you. Yes, come to me. There you go. Another escape. Oh, actually, maybe get a teleport. Can we get a teleport? No, don't run into the... Yes, teleport. Oh, we just crashed, I think.